Hello, hello, everybody. Oh goodness, is this thing on? Hi everyone. I haven't been on here in a very long time. It's very good to see you all, and I could not be more excited about who I have with me today. But before I get to that, just a brief introduction for those if you're new here, or if you don't remember me because I have been gone that long off 3D printing a new human. I am Dr. Rachel Kowert. I am the research director of Take This, and I host Take This Talks at the end of the month, the last Friday of the month at 6:30 Eastern, as you know, because you are here. We stream here at Take This every Monday. Every other week is a plays or a talks. And today, who are you? I know, Dr. B, it's been a while. Today I have a very, very, very special guest. She is a Take This streaming ambassador who lives in Australia from down under. She woke up very early to be here with us. I found her by pure happenstance over a year ago. I don't actually watch that much Twitch. And I was just going through and I randomly found her and I was immediately endeared to her. And I'm sure you will all see why if you have not yet met her. We share a love for fashion and Moogles and MMORPGs. And if you know me, those are like my three favorite things. So easy sell. Yes, hooray for HaughtyChicken. So let's see if I can, with the magic of OBS, if I can bring her to you. There she is. Hi.
Hi.
Oh,
You did
it's so
it.
good.
You did it.
I did it. So far, so good.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I'm so excited to have you. Please, did I miss anything in the introduction?
No, not really. You pretty much
Not
covered
really.
it.
All right,
No,
I got
you
it
pretty
all.
much covered it.
Google's, fashion, Australia.
Yes. Yes.
We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And we have this
Hi.
Canadian connection too. I think we kind of have this, we love
We
Canada.
do. We do. I am in Canada, and your partner is
Mm-hmm.
from Canada.
Yes. Yes.
But you have chosen not to live in Canada because we were talking about this earlier.
It might be a wee bit cold. Look, I'd like to.
Too cold.
I'd really like to. I think I'd love it. But the fact that I get cold when it's only 16 degrees, hubby says to me, no, you can't survive in Canada. So
You know, it's only a handful of days where the air just like stings your face. There's only a few days a year. But other than that,
stings
it's
your
fine.
face.
Yeah,
I
it's
remember,
like a.
I remember I caught a ferry over to Victoria. So we went to a place called Tawassan. Took me a long time to learn how to pronounce that. And we caught this big ferry. It's the biggest ferry I've ever been on. And he said, let's just go outside. It was so cold, I think my tears froze. I said, we're not doing that again. So probably not.
Yeah.
Lovely though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great in the fall and the summer and the spring. It's just the winter.
yeah.
You have
It
to
is
be-
beautiful.
You have to be great.
Look, I haven't given
Hi,
up. There's a nice university there. I wouldn't mind doing another degree because, there's always time.
I did hear a rumor that you are getting another degree. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Which university are you talking about?
That I'm going to now, or the one that I was at?
No, the one in Canada.
Victoria.
Oh, Victoria, yes. There are a lot of good. I wanted to go to Waterloo for my graduate degree. That didn't work out. I went to Santa Clara
That'd be
instead.
cool.
Which,
Ah.
yes. Another degree, not for me, for the lovely HaughtyChicken. I am not going back. I have enough
Yet.
degrees, I think.
Yet.
Oh, gosh. I mean, I feel like in a perfect world, in my retirement, I would collect master's degrees. I would do that.
Yeah.
Not another PhD. I think you want to go for a PhD. Is that what I heard?
I just started. I mean,
You did actually start.
yes.
Okay. Hold the phone. We're going to back up. Tell us about your PhD. What are you doing?
Look, I don't talk about it in great detail because it's
Okay.
not to do with this this sphere.
Okay.
My specialty is, but I will talk about it briefly. My specialty is helping social work students in their education be better practitioners. And sadly, victim blaming exists, whether people who may not realize that it exists. Victim blaming exists within practitioners, especially with regard to domestic violence. And so my role is to help social workers unpack their own bias so that they don't blame victims of domestic violence, especially mothers. So my PhD is exploring how we can help practitioners at university unpack their bias towards victims, basically. So obviously I don't talk about it a lot because it's very triggering
Yeah.
for many people.
Sure.
But yeah, that's basically what my PhD is, to to help our practitioners get ready for dealing with people who have such tremendous trauma before they get their degrees, before they graduate. So
Well,
I've never
that
actually
is. Thank you for
explained that, but
sharing.
that's yeah. So
Oh,
that's what my PhD is in.
yeah, that's wonderful. That is so important and so needed,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
especially social workers don't typically get enough support.
No. No.
For sure.
No.
So that's lovely. And I know there's a lot of
No.
practitioners in the audience, and I see that they're commenting. Hi,
Awesome.
Eve. Hi, Dr. B. I see lots
Mm.
of chicken emotes. This makes me happy. Okay, so we'll start from the top.
Okay.
Tell us a bit about what you've been playing these days, HaughtyChicken.
Been playing Final Fantasy. I'm just going to fiddle with the
You
camera a little
have.
bit so I can look at you rather than. There we go. That's
Yes.
a bit better. There we are. Playing Final Fantasy. We started playing Final Fantasy about 4 months ago. Only that, I've played World of Warcraft for a very long time. I dipped my toe a little bit in the recent expansion, and I've been following some other streamers, particularly from my community, who were playing Final Fantasy. Now, I've been aware of it for a long time, years, as you would have too. As MMO players, we tend to know what's out there, but we choose where we sit. But I thought if I go down the Final Fantasy rabbit hole, as it were, that Alice in Wonderland, I will never return. So I've been resisting. And a wonderful streamer from Ireland, Clodder is her name, and she's also one of my wonderful moderators. She's been playing it. And every time I watch her stream, I think, will I, won't I? Will I, won't I? And then they had a live presentation of what's coming up with the next expansion. And I watched it, and that was it. That was my undoing. So I immediately said to hubby, I think we need to go and try this. Well, we're still there, and I love it. And I read every quest. It's like reading a novel. I just said to someone in chat, it's like reading an amazing novel, and you don't want to put it down. So that's where we live. So we're currently living in Eorzea. Occasionally we eat and step away and have, I don't know, real life things we need to do. And then we go back to Eorzea.
And it's such a beautiful game. I, like you, have
Stunning.
resisted that rabbit hole
Mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
MMOs already take up so much time, and I'm a
Yeah.
huge Final Fantasy fan. Hi, Legend Crafter, thank you. Um, but watching you, I can live vicariously through you. I saw there was
Okay.
a Moogle hot air balloon. Is that what I saw a few weeks ago? There was like a funny Moogle mount of some
Yeah,
kind, and I
that's a
was like,
two-person mount. Yeah, hubby bought one
yeah.
because I couldn't ride at that point, and he was a little bit ahead of me, and so he bought a two-person Moogle mount. It's like a little garden chair kind of thing. So we were moving
Yeah.
around on that. Now I have an 8-person mount, so we all go for parties.
Oh, an
We
eight
have a
person.
whale of a time as our pun. It's haughty air when I'm driving because I'm not very good at it. So we
Oh,
have an
that's
8-person mount that we
amazing.
fly around on. So we have a good time. We all join up. Well, there's wonderful people in the community. They say invite me to party, and I chat literally for like three hours solid. But they still follow around. We hop on the whale and off we go. It's a good time.
Oh,
It's a good time.
that's so great. Is it like
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, where it's like the same kind of? There's raids and there's
Look,
dungeons
I
and
think
there's
I think the
yeah,
mechanics are the same, and then with most MMOs, you have the mechanics. You have health you've got to take care
yeah.
of. You've got your source of power, be it mana or what have you. You have dungeons and raids, and I often say to people, because many people, because they know that I'm a World of Warcraft person, they say, how do they compare? My advice to
Yeah.
them is try hard to go in with your blinkers severely on. If you start comparing games, you'll get
Yeah.
disappointed. And so I look at a
Yeah.
game in its, in its entirety without comparing it to another. It's really different.
Yeah.
It's more RPG, whereas WoW now is very much MMO. So that's the way I like
Right.
to divide the
That's a
two.
great distinction. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the
Mm,
Cat
mm.
Fantastic says it's like reading a great book. Yeah, the clips that I have seen, it
Yeah, it
really
is.
is. You can get lost in the lore,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
the
yeah. Yeah.
references to the other games
Yes.
I've seen,
Yes.
and
And
the
I don't know the
music.
story. The community have been so good. Both the community in the coop and the community in Final Fantasy folks come in. They don't spoil it for you. So I literally have no
That's
idea
nice.
what's next. I've not looked it up. I stay away from Google, and if I think I'm seeing a spoiler on Twitter, I go past really quick because I don't
Yeah,
want to see
yeah,
it.
yeah. I don't want to
Yeah,
say it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. So
Mm.
that's where you are now, but we alluded to
Yes.
it a little bit. I would love to talk about
Mm.
your streaming journey. You've been streaming
Yes.
for how long now?
Since last year.
Since last year. Okay, so I found you
Yeah,
right at
yeah.
the beginning when you first started streaming.
Yes, you
Cool.
did. Yeah. I started
So
in
tell
April.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I started in April, and I'd actually started my private practice. Many people don't know this. I literally was starting my private practice, and then the pandemic hit. And that was not good timing for me. And hubby was
No.
immediately forced to work from home, and so the locale was even doing teleconferencing was not going to work. Telepractice wouldn't work for me in terms of privacy. So I shelved the practice and thought,
Right.
okay, what am I going to do for the wee bit of spare time? I'm sure we won't be locked down for very long. Famous last words.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I went to Twitch to see if I could watch people playing games. And I didn't really know much about Twitch. I thought it was where Fortnite and Ninja was, and that was about all. And I had a little look around trying to find someone that was very chill. And I actually couldn't find anyone like me. You know, when you try and find someone that maybe is a little bit like you or like your play style. And I couldn't find at that time a chill stream. And I remember turning to hubby, he normally sits beside me, and I said, I think I'm going to stream. And he looked at me and he said, who are you and where is my wife? Because I'm a very quiet person in real life. I'm not a public person in any way. And I said, no, I'm going to just see what happens. And so he went to bed one night. It was 10 o'clock. I worked out how to use OBS. I did a bit of research a couple of weeks before on what to do. And I started playing Elder Scrolls Online because I thought I could read the story and at least I'd have myself to talk to. And within an hour, someone came in and said hello. And then the next night I did it again. And they came back plus another person. So I introduced them like they were here having a cup of tea with me. And so I introduced everybody like we were all friends. And I've not had a single stream since where someone hasn't come in. And it just got bigger and bigger. And Blizzard, I put out my very first tweet. So on Twitter, I was new. Everything was new. So I put out a tweet with a picture of myself with my grey hair. And I normally wear a little bow when I stream, saying a little PSA, if you're older or if you're shy about streaming, give it a go. It's actually a lot of fun. And someone from Blizzard saw that and they retweeted it. And then someone else saw it and they retweeted it. And just snowballed from there. And yeah, so that was last April. And I got partner in, I think, 12 weeks after I started. And then I got a lovely message from someone from AMD in California saying, we've been watching you. We love your safe space. Can we sponsor you? After I picked myself up off the floor, we had a Zoom meeting, and then I became a partner with them. And it just has just been this incredible journey. And then, of course, I met Take This. Well, I got an email actually about Take This, and that's how that journey started as well. And I can share that if you like.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, and so I got an email, and sometimes I get emails, and sometimes they're unusual emails. They just want me to do spamming things, what have you. But I got this email from Dr. Kelly Dunlap, and is that how pronounced her surname? I think it's Dunlap.
It is, yes.
Saying, hi, someone told us about you and recommended you. This is our organisation. We'd love to hear from you. And at first I thought, who knows me? Who recommended me? I have no idea who this is. And then I immediately checked out the organisation, and because of my own professional history, and I've largely worked with women, but specifically mental health, and I thought, okay, this is a good fit, because I didn't know who I wanted to align myself with per se, or who I wanted to represent, and especially with charities. Had a good look at the organisation for all of a minute and thought, oh yes, sign me up. Went and did my little video. I was so nervous, answered all the questions, and here we are. Yeah.
Yes,
it's been a year and a bit.
Yes. I mean that's a really fast journey from starting to today, and still the same love. I can sense you have the same love today as you did from the day that you started.
Yes, hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see something too that Dr. B mentioned. I'm also part of the Grand Dames as well. I was contacted by them to be a special guest about 2 months ago, and the Grand Dames is myself, Shirley Curry, who's from Skyrim. There's Jessa and there's Mary. And so the four of us, we meet once a month on the Grand Dames channel. They're on YouTube. And we just chat about gaming and life experiences as older women. So there's been quite wonderful meeting different people in this space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And have you been gaming your whole life, would you say?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I remember as a young teenage girl, my mum and dad had a black and white television in their bedroom, and I would spend hours playing, the original Pong television tennis game. And then the old muds, it was all text gaming. You were going down left or right. There's a troll at the end of it. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And then I found SimCity. Yes. And SimCity was my first simulation game. I would set up my cities, go to bed, and get up in the morning. I'd left it on all night to see if it grew. So that's how I got into sort of dynamic simulation type games. And then WoW was my very first MMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old school
I've always
SimCity.
gamed.
You can
Sim
never
City's the
fix those
best.
traffic jams.
No,
Always
no, no,
traffic.
no, 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 no. You can't. If they tell you you can, they're telling lies.
Yep,
You
yep.
can't fix them.
Dr. B remembers MUDs as well. No, you really can't.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
never been fixed in any iteration of SimCity. The
No,
traffic
no,
is
no,
always a
no.
problem no matter what you do. I loved going to bed, waking up, finding out what parts of my city I forgot to put fire stations in. Yes,
Yes.
fair point.
Well, turn off the environment though. Turn off all the earthquakes and things. I
Oh,
wouldn't
of
be going to bed
course.
leaving those on.
No, no, no. We don't need any natural disasters while we're sleeping.
No.
I think that's really great because I also played games growing up and didn't ever see someone like me. Like I didn't really know any other girls who played games, or I would
No.
play with my brother and my brother's friends. So Twitch has really opened the door to let us
Yes.
find the grand
Yes.
dames
Yes.
and the people
Yes.
who are like us. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I didn't have any friends either, and I don't have older brothers or sisters. I have one twin sister, but she's not
Oh,
into
cool.
gaming. My mum is. So my mum's a gamer. She's going to be 80 next year. She plays Rust. She's a Rust player, but we're getting her into Final Fantasy now. We're getting her in. It's on. We've downloaded it, so we will welcome her into it. And
Yeah.
my grandchildren do. My grandies are still too little, but they're aware of HaughtyChicken. They'll come in. I don't share, the identities of my grandchildren out of privacy. But my the oldest one, she's not yet in school. She will come up to the desk and she'll put on the bow that I wear, and she says, "I'm HaughtyChicken. Please get me a cup of coffee." So she pretends to be
That's
me.
adorable. They must think the setup is so cool with the microphone and the lights.
Well, they're used to it. They're very used to it. And I was streaming the
Yeah.
other day, and my daughter sent a little video to my phone, and she sent a message to hubby saying, "Ask mum to check her phone while she's on stream." So I excused myself. I didn't show them, but they have those massive big televisions like many people do, and they had my stream live on their television, and the two little granddaughters were sitting there watching, saying, "Hi, Nan," because we're in lockdown, we can't see them, so they watch me on stream instead,
That's so
saying, "Hi,
sweet.
Nan." Mm,
That's gonna make me cry.
no.
That's really, really sweet. Unlike my
Yeah.
children, who I did a PAX panel in the before times, and it
Yes.
happened to be one that was aired on the main Twitch stream, and I told my husband, put it on, and he's like, the kids
Yeah.
are just like, eh.
Yeah, no,
They don't
no.
care. What do you mean they don't care?
My
Their
my
mother.
first stream, I told my daughter, and she watched it, and I said, "So what did you think?" She said, "It's a bit cringe, Mum. It's a bit cringe."
That's
Now,
what
now it's a whole other story, though. My son,
Yeah.
who's thinking about streaming, is like, "So, contacts?" And I said, "So, work yourself into that. Off you go."
Yeah. Very good, Mom. That's exactly how it goes. So we touched on this briefly in your previous, not your previous life, it's still your life, in social work.
Yes.
And you are a mental health advocate. You're a Take This Streaming
Yes.
ambassador. What do you think is particularly important to note or to be aware of when it comes to talking about mental health through the medium of Twitch with the gaming community?
I think first and foremost, and I direct this at streamers particularly, be aware of your boundaries for the safety of not just you, but the safety
great
of your
point.
audience. It is really, really important that whilst you are there and can have a space for people, you can hold hope for people, you can lift people. We have commands to lift people if they've not had a good day. Remember to stop, because you are not there as their therapist, whether you are a qualified therapist or not. Be very careful of boundaries, because you can do more harm than good. So be very, very careful. And a lot of us are very empathetic in this space, and you want to help as much as possible, but you're not going to help someone if you overstep that mark. So I think that's the biggest message that I will say to people, especially if you are, whether you're an official advocate or an ambassador, or you're just a really caring, kind person. Protect yourself and protect that other person. You can only do so much. So make sure you have the resources that you need. Make sure you can say, "Here, I've got this for you." But be able to say, "I can't help you beyond this, and I'm sorry, but here are some people that can help you." So that's probably my, and I know it sounds a little bit sort of stern, but it's for their benefit as much as your own. And a lot of people know that I'm also a social worker, but I cannot operate in this space under our Australian Code of Ethics, and so I will use that if I have to. But I prefer to gently say, "Here's what you need. Go and seek some help. Go and ask someone if you need to." So that's probably the biggest. I know that sounded a bit harsh, but it's really, really important to remember your
so
boundaries.
important. Yeah, and
You
I
know,
think
we.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can care and have empathy and have kindness while still putting in those healthy boundaries for you and for them.
Yes, I think that's the really important point, is that the boundaries are for both of you.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But at the same time, apprise yourself of knowing. That's why in Australia, and perhaps it is somewhere else as well in the world, we have a It's Okay Day. And there's always a lot of debate about the It's Okay Day here, because a lot of people agree with it and some people don't. And the reason that they don't agree with it, and I do like to talk about this, is because if you ask if you're okay, you need to be prepared to have an answer if they say they're not.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Yeah.
people say, "You're doing okay?" And if someone says, "Actually, I'm not doing so great," you need to have a response. So if you are planning on being a mental health advocate, or you consider yourself one, do do be ready for, "Oh no, I'm not doing okay." Do be ready for the resources that you might need, the direction to pop those people over to, or just to hold them in that space. So that's the other piece of advice I would have, because you will have people come into your stream or into your life that are not okay. So be prepared to
Right.
have that answer come back at you. Mm.
Yeah. And, at takethis.org, we have a lot of resources that you can redirect
Yes,
people to.
yes, yes.
And as you mentioned, like Dr. Kelly Dunlap and Dr. B also do streaming,
Mm.
and they are therapists,
Yes,
but they are not your
yes,
therapist.
yes.
And it's hard sometimes when people know that you work in the space of mental health,
Mm.
and they're hurting. But again, those boundaries are for you and for them. It's
Yes,
it's much
yes.
better to give
Mm.
resources than to try and save the world.
Yeah.
We're only one person. We
Mm.
can't save the world. Not at all harsh, Hadi. That is a responsible bit of advice. We really need to be thinking of others and know our own limits.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
Mm. Mm.
for sure.
Mm.
Dr. B, see, all caps, not a therapist. So,
Mm.
what would you say then is the biggest misconception that people have? I know that we were talking about your PhD, and one of your supervisors knows that you're a streamer, but maybe doesn't know much about streaming, and now your grands are used to it. But what is kind of a big misconception you come across when people find out that you're a streamer, content creator?
It is really hard because not many people know that I am. As
Hmm.
far like we're about to hit 15,000 followers on Twitch, and I've got 6.5 or something on Twitter. But last
Amazing.
year I had none of these people. I wasn't in this space at all, and so I've been able to keep myself quite separated. So I only graduated from my master's in 2017, and so I'm a
Hmm.
fairly new graduate. I only went to uni at 50 and decided to do an undergrad. Then I
Oh,
did
wow.
research honors. Then I did 2 weeks later I started my master's. So it was all bang 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 bang, and now I'm straight
Hmm.
into PhD. And so I've got a lot of peers and friends that are still in the academic space, obviously. And every now and again, they'll contact me and say, how's it going with the practice? What are you up to? And there's a pause. And I think, do I bring this up? Do I not? And usually I don't. And so very few people actually know in my own circle that I stream. My immediate family do, and 2 friends, and now my supervisor. And she's a fairly senior. She's a fairly senior professor. And we had to have a Zoom meeting about the PhD when we agreed that, yes, we're going to go ahead with this. And so we had this Zoom meeting, and this is my living room actually. And she said, "You've got a bit of a fancy microphone. Why do you have such a fancy microphone?" And I thought, oh goodness, it's going to happen. So I kind of, she didn't know what Twitch was. And so I tried to explain it's a bit like a live podcast kind of thing, with
That's a
video
good way to
games.
describe it.
And I said, we sometimes talk about mental health. And she said, right. She said, do you do that Twitter thing then? And I said, well, I do. She said, how many do you have following? I said, about 6,500. She said, right. Can we get some data from that? She's always about where can we get the data from? And I said, probably not. But, I think the misconception is that it's moving away from the fact that not many people know that I do it, that it's relatively easy. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do as you grow. I've grown quite quickly, and I try really hard to keep my other self very private. I keep my name as private as I can. I keep my family and I keep my work private. And for obvious reasons, my work is in quite a serious space, and so that is very difficult. And it's difficult to be public. Obviously, we've had a very distressing week in the community of WoW players and the community of WoW streamers and content creators, and the community as women and minorities and vulnerable folk, all of us who are attached. And I will touch on that just very briefly because it can be very triggering for people. And I remember I was having a DM with a wonderful member of my community, and I mentioned to them, and as I wrote it, I realized it's difficult as a streamer when you are dealing with something publicly. People on the other side watching a streamer are dealing with insert something here, whether they're having a bad day or something's happening in the public. But when you're a streamer, it is very difficult to deal with those emotions or deal with conflict or deal with something live. be it someone that's come in that's being abusive to you, someone that's coming in to upset your community, or something that's happening around in society. And so that I think is something that perhaps people don't realize, that you're holding a space for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Plus, you're trying to unpack that yourself. So I think that's often forgotten. We don't always have it together at the time we press live, and so it can be difficult, I think, sometimes to deal with that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we definitely are a persona, right? When we come on here, but we're also real people dealing with obviously
Yes.
what is all going
Yeah.
around us as well. So why do not many people know that you stream? Is that just? Do you want to? I'll say this. I saw a TikTok the other day that I very much related to, which was because I make YouTube content, and the TikTok was a little video saying, "I don't make YouTube content for my family to watch it. I make it for the strangers of the internet to watch it." And I was like, "Yes,
That's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, yeah. So I totally feel it.
I don't know. I thought it would just be a wee little hobby and that it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone would even come and say hello. And to be honest, it's just grown so fast and so quick. I'm waiting for the moment that someone comes in and says, "Oh, you're such and such." I have one peer from university who streams, and I watched them stream before I did, and he pops in, so he knows who I am. But I think too, because most of my community are not in Australia, they're all in Europe or North America, Canada. So I'm not going to be recognised here, although I was on the ABC News here, so I thought, okay, someone's going to see that.
Ooh,
Luckily,
cool.
no, I think I slid under the radar. I don't know. I don't know how I could share it. I mean it when I say I'm quite a quiet person. I'm either all about my family or I'm all about study. That's pretty much my two lives. And now I've got this funny little hobby on the side that seems to be growing and growing. I think people would be shocked if I said, "Oh, by the way, I'm doing this." I don't know how to take it.
Maybe you just want to. Maybe it's just something you keep. Oh, that is a noise from the widget. It's a raid. I didn't recognize the noise. I was like, why do I hear that noise? Thank you for the raid.
It's D-Nug. I just raided D-Nug.
Oh, well, welcome to the chat.
Final Fantasy.
Yes, we are talking with the lovely HaughtyChicken about her streaming journey, about her studies, about her life. I do want to go back a little bit because we were talking about boundaries and the importance of boundaries for a streamer, and Blushing Crafter had a comment that said we can be there for someone who is struggling without overstepping any of our own boundaries, and yes, we can listen, but we must send people to those who can actually help them.
Yes,
and I think that's really key.
Yeah, and know where to send them, which is why when Take This so kindly said yes, we will have you as an ambassador. I was very nervous until I got that yes, because I really, really wanted to be an ambassador. But it also was a relief because it is such a, I don't mean convenient as in easy, but it is. It's wonderful to have those resources, especially if you have empathy and you want to be that advocate, to have an organization. And yes, this sounds like a plug, but I mean this from my heart. To have an organization where you believe in the resources, you know that they are good, that the people are good, that you can say, "Here, please take these." And so my community know, and I tell new people that come in, please take these, read these, share these with people that you care for. It just gives you that bit of confidence that yes, you can be an advocate, yes, you can have empathy, and you can hold people in that space, and you can send them to where they need to go, or you can give them those things. So
absolutely,
I agree.
And that's why we're here. I mean, when I started working for Take This, it was very much, I just very believed in the mission. And it was like, you have to have me because I love what you do and I want to contribute to the mission. Especially, I mean, no one would have foreseen COVID happening, but especially over the last year, I've seen several research studies coming out that Twitch has really become a lifeline for social community and connection, and then combine that with the mental health crisis of the world.
And the isolation has just been absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, and we were talking before the show. I was pregnant earlier in the year. I have a baby now. But so I was totally isolated and nobody knew how contagious everything was. And I was just staying home. And in Australia, you've also been on severe lockdown. So thank goodness that we have the communities of Twitch. Even if it's just, they even found in the research, even if it's just on the background, knowing that someone's live and on the other end is very comforting.
Yes. And a lot of people and a lot of research, and you will attest to this, even if you don't reach out, to know that there's someone there if you need to can impact your mental wellness, and you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
So even if
Yes.
someone didn't ever reach out or press that resource button, they know that it's there if they need to, and that in
Yes.
itself is comforting. That in itself can have a tremendous amount of an impact on you, rather. So yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's good for the streamer too to know that the responsibility isn't theirs. I feel
Mm,
like sometimes you can
yes.
feel responsible of a member of your community, right?
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and or multiple. You can be
Yeah.
having a stream and you have more than one person who are having distress at their isolation or having distress at the ongoing, because the pandemic is very taxing. And here we're in our
Mm-hmm.
fifth lockdown right now, and each lockdown becomes more and more oppressive, and it
Mm-hmm.
really does wear you down. And so you can see that in our own society here in Australia. And so
Mm-hmm.
just knowing that there's somewhere that people can just chill, they know my consistency of stream will go and sit with Haughty, even if they don't talk to me. They listen to me chatting. We're talking about games. We
Yeah.
occasionally talk about mental health, and we're just having a bit of a chill moment. I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind. I often say to people, if you need to just sit, that's okay. If you need to have me in the background while you do your laundry, that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Whatever they need.
Yeah. I had you in the background earlier, admiring the fashion of Final Fantasy. In the chat, Kelvamore Nostrum says, I was in the Cat Fantastic stream earlier, who rated Dnug, who then went to Haughty, and now Dnug, and now here. So welcome. Welcome to, that was quite a journey to get you here, but we're happy to have you here in this stream. And Dr. B says, it's like knowing others are there is an empowering experience. Indeed.
Yeah, yeah. And I think empowering is a good word too.
Yes.
And I'll tack onto that. As a streamer, having those resources is empowering to you as well, knowing that you have
Yes.
them. I know I keep talking about this, but it's just that extra little bit of, how can I help you here? Take this,
Yeah.
unintended, but you know what I mean. That's also
Yeah.
empowering.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. And oh gosh, I'm so wrong at names. Carthabraja says you cannot underestimate how powerful it is to not feel alone.
Yeah.
Yes. Having a comforting voice in the background. Not even in the last year, but even before that, it's very powerful. Delaney says, I never thought I'd like Twitch as much as I do, but it has been a lifeline during the pandemic. It's also been interesting to see the awesome communities I have found intersect in that vein. Hi, Haughty, from Leslie's Purple Crew. Look at that.
Is Leslie in chat? Of the
Don't know.
Purple Crew are wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful.
Well, welcome, Purple Crew. I don't know who you are, but if Haughty says you're wonderful, you must be.
They are. Let us just say they are very strongly attached to my AMD red team.
Oh, very nice. Engage family gaming. I like having streams on the background. It's very calming. It is very calming. I agree. Even a high, like I watch Fortnite on Twitch because I, in my living the best life, can never. I'm just gonna say I do not have the hand-eye coordination. I don't think I could ever do it.
I was going to say, do you play Fortnite?
No, no, I
Really?
definitely do not.
I would have been so impressed.
No, sorry to disappoint. I'm more of a simulation, Animal Crossing, turn-based RPG kind of gal, but I love
Okay.
watching other people play it because it's really fascinating to see the amount of hand-eye coordination that goes into.
I've played it once. I fell. I've got to tell my story
was it?
because my son plays it.
Yes.
I played it and I fell into a tree, so I stayed there, and I came third. And the only reason I came
What?
third is I fell out the tree and died. I moved.
Oh no! Oh
That's
no!
my only claim
See,
to fame with Fortnite.
that is a fantastic story, first of all, and I feel like that's exactly how it would go if I tried.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
play.
There's no building or any. No, there's no gameplay. I just fell in a tree and stayed there. And that's
Stayed
all.
there
I'm not
and
going to
fell
log
out
back
of
in
the tree.
again.
Oh man, that's amazing. Well, that's further than I've gotten. I love it. So, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to start streaming? I know you've only been doing it for a year, but you've grown your community quite fast, and Twitch is growing as a platform. We're seeing a
it
lot
is.
more people coming. So, what are kind of the big kind of takeaways that you've learned over the last year?
Okay. So if you have goals to grow, if you have plans as a streamer, as opposed to say you just want to log on and play with friends, so that these are two different things
that's a
here.
good point.
So work out before you start. And I did this. I did research for about 2 weeks before I started streaming. I researched what I needed to do as the bare minimum in terms of what platform I was going to use, like OBS, the streaming software that I needed. I needed to make sure I was going to use a webcam or not. I was originally not going to have a webcam because I thought that would invite trolls, but I thought, oh, if I'm going to be me, I need to do that. So I did. So learn your basics and then decide what your brand is going to be. Think of your stream as a business from the get-go, because if you think about what your brand is going to be and the community that you want to help develop, then that will give you some goalposts for setting goals, and that will help you in terms of where you're going to go in terms of sponsorships, if that's what you want to do, where you want to go in terms of the games that you want to play. So I knew that I wanted to have an inclusive space as an ally. I knew I wanted to have a safe space as a mental health professional. And I wanted to have a space where you could play your game casually. So I chose to play games that didn't require a lot of my attention. So my type of stream is an engaged one as opposed to a teaching one. Don't be coming to me to learn how to raid. So I needed a game. So I chose games that I didn't have to look at my game all the time. I could look at the camera and talk to people. All these things I did before I pressed live. So I knew exactly which way I would build, and I just kept building that and be consistent. People need to know that you are there. People need to know when you're going to be on. So that's probably the biggest advice I would give. Be the community that you want to be a part of. And remember that what you allow, you will attract. So if you don't have your boundaries in early, if you don't have your moderation in early, you will set the tone, and you will show people what you will accept. So I think that's also really important. What you allow, you will attract into your community. So be really mindful of that.
That's where boundaries come in from the very beginning.
Yes. A lot of new streamers fear that if I put boundaries in now, I will, scare people away. I need to be a little bit more open. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yes.
Put your boundaries in early. It's for your benefit and for their benefit. It's worse putting in boundaries later on when you've already established a precedent. Set them in from the beginning, and that's kind. That's kind to your community, because they know what to expect, and they know how they will protect, or how your boundaries will protect them. So it's for everybody, really.
Yes, that's fantastic advice. Strong, clear boundaries.
Yeah.
What you allow, you will attract. That is such a good nugget of wisdom. And that I want to go back just 1 second, because you did mention the trolls. We got to talk about the trolls. And the only reason I bring it up is because I saw you on Anxiety's stream talking about toxicity and content creation. And I don't remember exactly what it was that you said, but I remember watching and being, that is so profound. I remember being very moved by the discussion. So have you found that it has been something like an ongoing struggle, or how has that been? Streaming
sometimes it depends on the game, which is interesting. Different games will garner more toxicity than others. For example, I was on the launcher for Blizzard for many months, and that was a local launcher. So it was BattleNet here, just in Australia and New Zealand, so just our oceanic region. Every time I was on that launcher, the amount of trolls went up. The people in my region did not like the fact that I was an older woman on the launcher. Many people were furious that I was there, and so I got a lot of trolls during that period of time, to the point that I actually asked Blizzard, "Look, you're very kind. Please take me off. I'm growing quite dynamically, and I no longer need to be on there." And they knew as well. They warned me about that. They were very, very kind in warning me. But I think it depends on the game, and B, at this stage, I've got a wonderful set of mods, but B, my community in itself also won't tolerate unkindness. It still happens. We have people coming in. I have a zero tolerance. Zero. There's no timing out. There's no cut that out. I just simply, I simply won't have it. And at least for me, it's more for my community. I'm fairly resilient now. Threats of violence sometimes will impact me a little. And so I go and do my own self-care in that instance, make sure that everybody's okay. But my moderators are very, very swift. If I have to stop the stream and check that everyone is doing okay in chat, I will. But trolls are always going to be there. I understand that trolls want to get something from their behavior. Their behavior is to get something from you. They want to see you upset. They get a lot of pleasure from seeing you upset. They get a lot of pleasure from saying something that's unkind. So I simply, and I know what I said in that stream with Anxiety, I will not weave them into my story. Their opinions do not count. I do not take it on board at all. And I try to say that to new streamers, even if you don't have moderators yet, you can have emotes only, you can have clear chat, you can protect yourself as much as possible. Just don't give them the time of day. Simply don't. I know some streamers do. They like to be combative with them, but my choice is, and this really does stem from protection of my community, I do know that I have a lot of people in my community that can be quite vulnerable in various intersections in their life. So I'm just not going to have it. I'm just not going to have it. Basically.
They're not going to be weaved into your story.
Nope.
No. That also points to the importance, even, I know you said even if you don't have mods, but the importance of mods. We had a panel about parasocial relationships a few months ago, and there was a lot of discussion about choosing your moderators and when you're building your community, the importance of that. Do you have anything you can speak to that for streamers who are
look, moderators are they're vital, and especially as you grow, they're vital. Someone asked recently in another Discord, how do I find my moderators? And my advice is, watch your community. Unless it's someone that, my husband is one of my moderators, of course, and I've got some friends as well. But watch your community and see who interacts. See who has the same type of values that you do. Sometimes they may speak the same way that you do in terms of your speak. But see who interacts. See who is protective of what you are building. They're the people that I start to watch over a number of weeks, and they are the ones that I will contact. I always find my moderators personally. I don't do a shout out for moderators, because then I don't want to make folks feel poorly if I say no, but also I don't want to just attract anyone. I want to particularly target my moderators. So choose someone that you trust, and also choose someone that they understand that this is your community. The other side of that is, if a moderator is not working out, it's okay to say, this is not working out for me, but thank you kindly. Don't keep a moderator that is not good for you. I think a lot of streamers think, now that I've got a moderator, I've got to keep them. No, you don't. These are very kind people who are volunteering their time to help keep you and your community safe. But if it's not working out, it's okay to say, I thank you kindly, but this is just not a good fit for me. I wish you well. Don't be afraid to do that.
Absolutely. You're setting the boundaries for your community, right? You're
yes,
setting the
yes, and it is your community. Remember that. The moderators are there. They're there to keep everyone safe. They're there to uplift if necessary. They're vital. Mine are absolutely vital. But at the same time, this is still your community. Have a moderator chat. I have a chat. I have a guide. I let them know if things are coming up that they need to know about. They, in turn, will give me advice. They are so good. They say, have you thought about this? They are so intuitive. We really are a well-oiled machine at this point.
That's amazing.
So, have a separate space where you can talk to them and say, look, this didn't go well. Perhaps we could try this. So don't just have them and don't communicate with them. I communicate with my moderators frequently.
Yeah, actually, Arcane, which is one of your moderators.
One of my moderators.
Being a mod for HaughtyChicken is one of, if not the best experience I've had on Twitch.
Wonderful.
Yes, that is wonderful. And that goes to, it's so important. Dr. B actually said, see who interacts, see who understands what you're trying to build. That you don't put out a mass call. That's not how you're going to find the moderators that you want.
No, it's not the best way. It's not the best way.
No. Certainly not when you're trying to curate a specific community. Okay, so what would you say then, taking one step back, what is one book that you think that you would recommend? Not necessarily about streaming, maybe about life, maybe about psychology, maybe about content creation. What is one book that has been really key to your life that you think that everyone should read? It's like the go-to if it's Christmas time, if it's holiday time and you're given a present, this is the book you buy. What book would that be?
Oh, goodness me. I forgot to tell you too, by the way, I started in psychology. I did a double degree in psychology and sociology, but I jumped ship. Sorry. I jumped ship after a year or so.
To social work.
That's
not too far. I did my master's. It's a master's in counseling, but I was at a community clinic of social workers. So
there we go. Look,
we're in line.
Same page, same library.
Yes.
Look, I know I don't read. Most of my reading has been academic, to be honest. When you're doing 2 and now 3 degrees back to back, most of my reading is academic, and I've not read fictional or similar for a very long time. But I knew you were going to ask me this question, so I'm actually going to hold up one of my favorite books.
Oh, okay.
It's got little tags and everything. So this is my favorite book of all time. Yes, it is about social work practice, but it's based on the strength perspective in social work. However, I use this in my life as well. And so for those that don't know, strength perspectives is basically looking at what isn't working in your life and concentrating on what is. It's looking at, rather than what people may be lacking in certain aspects in their life, but what they're good at. And so it's basically honing in on what a person's strengths are, regardless of what's going on in their world, which might be really vulnerable or oppressive. you have a little look at what they've got that works really, really well for them, and helping them to bring that out to help them face whatever it is that they're facing. And so I knew you were going to ask me about what my favorite book was, and I thought about it long and hard. This is one of my favorite books. I was introduced to this very, very on in my and other books of this writer, Dennis Salibi, because I didn't know what strength perspective was. But now that I do know, it fits in well with me as a person and my, empathy and compassion. So if you help someone, no matter what's going on, it's a bit like, that moment in, what's that movie, Keanu Reeves? You might know the one where he's standing still. I know you do. And it's all spinning around him. Even if your world is like that, there's always something that you can find that you have strength in, and it's building up on that and showing someone that they can do really well because they're strong at this, and nurturing that. So that's my favorite book. That's my favorite understanding of finding the strength in who we are as people and other people. It's saying, okay, I know this is really awful and life's really biting you in the butt over here, but you are so good at listening, or you have done really well each day to do this. Have you recognized? It's often reminding people how well they've done. So I know I went on a bit long there, but I'm really excited about finding people's strengths. So that's my favorite book.
Because
Sorry, it's not a novel.
Everybody has strengths. I mean, I think a lot of times, especially when people are in distress or this isn't working out or that isn't working out, it's easy to forget this is working out over here. That this went really well.
Yeah. Do you remember when you did this well? Look how you faced that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Could the name of the book be posted in chat? Can you hold up the book again? I will type.
He's written a few. This is actually a student textbook, this one, but he's got quite a few. If you look up his name, let me pull it down there. So his first name is Dennis, and it's Salibi. Saleebey. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So that one's particularly for social workers, but he does some wonderful work. There's a lot on the internet, but if you just look up strength-based work, I just think it's really good. That's my favorite.
That's a good choice. I have a hard time picking a favorite book, but one of my favorites is The Will to Meaning, which is kind of similar. I don't know if you've read. It's all about finding meaning in things, even in bad things or negative things, and it's kind of a similar perspective. So even when things seem very, very bad,
I want to know that now.
Yeah, it's a good book. I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Can you put that in chat too?
I can, but I organize my books by color, and I have to remember the color of the book now. Okay, there it is.
I can see your books by color. I'm so inspired.
It's Viktor Frankl.
My books are over there.
Man's Search for Meaning, and then he has a follow-up, The Will to Meaning. It's a short book. He is a Holocaust survivor, and he talks about finding meaning.
Yes, I might read that.
It's a wonderful, wonderful book. Yes. Dr. B knows the book. Very good. Okay, so that's the must read. And then, I have one more question for you on my list of questions. And then if there's audience questions, we will take those. And then, of course, I have my little fun game. But the last question I have is, what is the thing you like most about streaming and the thing you like the least about streaming?
Most about streaming is actually unexpected. So we have an inclusive space. I'm an ally by action, not by name. And we come from a diverse family of many unique and wonderful, colourful people in our own personal life. So that's why it's important to me to have a safe space. And I'm very, very, thank you to you. I'm now so good at parasocial relationships and understanding what that means in terms of boundaries. So I never wanted to present myself as anyone's grandma. And those in my community know that if someone comes into my chat and they say, "Hey, grandma," I say, "Hi, it's nice to meet you. Please call me HaughtyChicken." My grandchildren call me grandma. So I really make sure that I don't represent someone that I'm not to people. Having said that, when I started streaming, I started to get private messages from people saying, "I'm non-binary, I am trans, I'm still trying to explore who I am, but I'm rejected by all the older people in my family. Thank you for accepting me." And I get them fairly regularly. And that was a surprising aspect that I didn't expect. I didn't expect people to say, "You're not my grandmother, but you represent an older person who accepts anyone, however they are." And so I took that really quite to heart. And now I realize that the space that I have created, that my community now create, because it's not a solo gig anymore. It's very much a community space. We all create this space. People say, "Oh, look what you've done." I said, "Look what we are doing." To get these private messages from people saying, "Thank you for giving me a soft landing space. I have nowhere else to go at the moment," is wonderful. Still within the safe boundaries that I provide. So I didn't expect that. So that is absolutely joyous to me. The other part, it is really hard getting up at 3:30 in the morning, and it continues to get really hard. And every time the time zones change, I have to change my times again. And I know that as the PhD, because it's literally just starting now, I know that I'll have to pull back a little bit on my streaming, and that will be difficult. That will be difficult. It's a necessity, but I will still stream. I can't imagine myself not streaming because this community, virtual as it is still part of the community that I am in. I'm a part of this community. We are all part of the coop, myself included. I just happen to log in. They don't have to, do the obs part, but we're all in the same space. So that's something I'll have to navigate.
Yeah.
Does that answer that question? I think
It does. And I love you said, look what you've done, and you say, no, look what we are doing. Because it is about the community, isn't it?
It's beyond me now. It's now,
Yeah.
I can be busy chatting and doing something, and I realize that the community are helping everybody else. And I just have to say, could you please help, so-and-so there? I can't help them with that question. And the community will, pitch on in. Or if someone's unkind, they'll may say, we don't have that here. We don't use that here. And then my moderator's usually quick anyway.
Yeah.
We are a community that get together, 6 times a week at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you come on quite early. You come on early, or you come on in the evening for me? I see it pop up very regularly. HaughtyChicken is live.
Yeah.
HaughtyChicken is live.
Yeah.
So it is
a lot.
but the consistency is very nice. Right? That's what you're
and for
saying
a lot of
too
people,
about.
Yeah, they need that. So if you are a new streamer, consistency, people need to know where to find you, whether it's because they really need that space, or they just like that space,
Yeah.
Be consistent as quickly as you can. Try and get your consistency going.
For sure. If you have a question in the chat, write question in all capitals and then the question, and I will see it. There was one from Dr. B, and I want to say it verbatim because he said it so well. How can I get my hair as glorious as HaughtyChicken?
Okay, so purple shampoo is the best. Purple shampoo is the best. Can I just say? So my hair is obviously gone silver. Down here, it's a port wine color. My hubby did my hair. Can I just say? IT and then hairdresser on the side. But if you are growing your hair silver, if you're getting the silver out coming out, use purple shampoo and conditioner. You get it from any store, and it helps it stay that sort of that color.
That is good advice.
And I had my hair as a pixie cut. I had it on Twitter a little while ago. About 2.5 years, my hair was literally pixie all the way over.
Wow.
And then COVID hit, and so I didn't get it cut, and I thought I'll get it cut eventually. And then it just kept on going. It was actually, Kane said to me, keep growing your hair. So it's actually normally super, super curly. And then Taliesin and Evertel contacted me, and she said, I really love your hair. And I thought, well, that's it then. I'll just keep on growing it.
Now I have to keep it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar, I didn't have my hair short, but COVID has kept, hairdressers have been open 7 weeks out of the last year here in Canada.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So my hair, I actually just got it cut, but it's hard to tell in this light. Well, yeah, here. See, it was blonde.
Yep.
It's not blonde anymore, but it is mostly silver. So now I know purple shampoo is where I should be at.
That's where you go. It takes the brass, and if you're blonde as well, it takes the brassiness out. I know all about this now. I was originally purple, and then I went to blue, and now this sort of port wine color thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's very
my professor
inspired.
did too. She said, "Oh, you look different." She'll get used to me.
The story of COVID is long hair. Yes, it is.
Yes.
My hair was very long and unruly, and then I couldn't take it anymore. But I decided, because it's gone this long already, I was like, I'll just grow it out and just go with the silver. Dr. P is going with the silver. HaughtyChicken's going with the silver. Go with the silver.
You talk about empowering, go with the silver.
I believe that for sure. I don't need to sit in a chair every 6 weeks to dye my hair anymore. Blushing Crafter. My hair is going gray and has for a few years. I dye it, but when I decide not to, I'll remember the purple shampoo. Yes, Blushing Crafter. That is where I've been. And then I just thought, I'm never going to let it grow out this much again. So now I'm just committed. It is empowering, though, I have to say. My 6-year-old has hair similar to my color. And I was like, you have my hair because your daddy's hair is like dark and it's really thick. And she was like, I don't have the white in your hair. And I was like, 6-year-old.
They don't miss a thing. They don't miss a thing.
That's the thing. Yes. Glitter strands. Yes, Miss Smashy Smash. These are just.
Oh, I like that
these are
glitter
just,
strands. My twin sister
yeah.
has silver hair as well. I asked for her permission. My twin sister and I and my mother have birthdays the day of each other, and we went out for lunch. And so I put a
Oh.
picture on Twitter of the three of us, actually. So my sister now also has the silver hair as well. But
Oh,
hers is
that's
straight. I've always wanted her straight hair.
ah.
She's always wanted my curly hair. You know how it goes.
We always want what we don't have. That's
Mm-hmm,
just
mm-hmm.
the nature of
Yeah.
life.
The grass
Dr.
is not
B,
greener. You've just got to water your own.
Yes. I'm on with that advice. You do have to water your own. Mine was already silver, just longer silver. Your hair is getting long. Dr. B's got a proper man bun, I would say.
Oh,
Could put
long,
that in a
long.
bun. Yeah, it's getting long.
You rock that silver pretty good, I think.
Yeah. You do. He does. I'll be stealing that line. It's a good line. Okay, so if you have any questions, do ask them. We're going to have HaughtyChicken for another 20-ish minutes. And during this time, we're going to play my favorite segment, which is 10 Things I Want to Know About You, which my daughter helped me make this tin. It's a Christmas tin.
Lovely.
Full of questions. Originally, it was 100, and then whenever I pull one, it gets tossed in the bin, so nobody gets the same questions. We will do 10 of them, and if there's any you don't want to answer, you just say, I don't want that, and I'll throw it back in. I'll get a different one.
Okay.
But they're fun, and now we're going to learn all kinds of interesting and random things about you. Let's see. Have you ever played the game Portal? That's not the question, but
Yes.
I'm just asking. Okay, good. The
Yes.
question is,
Yes.
is the cake a lie? That's the question. Is the cake a lie?
No.
No, the cake is not a lie. You heard it here first. The answer is no. I feel like if you hadn't played Portal, you'd be like, that's a weird question, Rachel. Why are you asking me that? There, look, we got some cake emojis now.
My new
have
one.
you ever
It's my brand new one.
Is it? Is it something special about strawberry cake?
The wee little golden chocobo that's always trying to get the cake in Final
really?
Fantasy. You know, the chocobos fly and they have cake on like a fishing pole,
this-
and they can never
mhm.
reach the cake, and that's what makes them fly. And so that's
Oh,
what the-
that's sad.
And we also have a lot of birthdays in our community, and I thought we need cake. So
Oh, you definitely-
there we go. And
Cake-
see Stingy there. See Stingy, Queen of Baking. She's from the community. She's the most incredible baker. Oh my word! And so she loves cake.
Oh, wow. I think that we need a cake emoji, Dr. B.
Yeah,
The cake was our journey all along, is what Kelly Dunlap, Dr. Kelly Dunlap. We were talking about you earlier, Kelly.
What are you doing?
We have a question in the chat. If there was one TV show or movie you could erase from your memory and re-experience for the first time, what would it be? Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Classic is my favorite movie of all time. Favorite
Yeah?
movie of all time. Yeah,
Yeah,
love that.
You said
movie.
that with
I know.
a lot of conviction.
I only got the poster yesterday. I'm so excited.
I love that poster. I also love the Murloc, Leonardo
Yep.
da Vinci.
Yeah, and then this one is from Fallout. From Fallout, and that one,
Fallout.
sorry, at the other end says it's a bit like it says "Meet me at the Gold Saucer." So that's what that one is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy.
And I've got two others to go up on the wall. One says "I want to believe" from Mulder's office in the X-Files, and another one
nice.
is from All the Worlds. I'm showing you all my loves now.
Yes, no, that's awesome. I don't have.
This
I don't
is
have
our-
too many. I mean, I have a couple.
Sorry.
behind me.
This is our living room. It goes all the way down there.
Oh, is it?
And when people walk in, they don't know us. They stop for a minute because there's all these like there's 6 monitors right here right now, and laptops over there, and servers over there, because we run servers of other games that are safe for people. You might see my hubby come down the stairs in a minute. And so this whole lounge room, I have no apologies of who we are in life. We love our
Yeah.
games and we love our science fiction. It's like, live your best life.
100%. 100%. Question: is it your mod's job to keep maniacs from incinerating your morality core? Is that a reference to something I don't understand? I feel like it might be. I don't
Okay.
know. Can you clarify? I feel like I don't understand the question. We will rephrase and come back to that one. What was the first video game you can remember playing as a child? I think we talked about this.
It was the tennis. Yeah, it was the tennis.
Yeah, Pong. Pong is classic. Oh, Dr. B is
Yeah.
Very on board with you.
Oh, it was a
being an
Portal
X-Files
reference.
fan. What's a Portal? Cave Johnson. I do have Cave Johnson. I do have a Portal reference behind me, and I have a Moogle.
Yes, you do have a Moogle. I like your Moogle.
Thank you. I had that Moogle was hard to track down. That is a Final Fantasy VI Moogle. Very hard to
Ah,
find.
I'm on the waiting list for a plush, gorgeous little fat kitty. I try to have little things from all the games that I play. Like that's a
Yeah,
lunchbox
see.
from Final Fantasy with Nuka Girl, and
Oh
underneath
yeah,
that
that's
is
cool.
something else from Final Fantasy. And up here is my most recent. It's a wee little otter with a little hat on. It's a little otter minion. So that's what that is behind there. There's Mothman. I'm a very much a Fallout girl as well. So there's all sorts of games all sort of behind me. I just surrounded myself with things that I love.
As you
And
should.
hubby's a minimalist. Can I just say hubby's a minimalist?
Oh no.
And he shares this space with me. He's also exceptionally shy. He's so good. He's so good to share this.
Oh, that's awesome. He's also nerdy and geeky and loves games
Oh
though.
yes, yeah. He writes mods for Rust PVE, and so
Oh,
so
cool.
he's an IT coder, and he writes all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's looking after us in the world of COVID right now. That's what his job is now.
Oh yes, that is a very
Mm,
important job.
mm,
Um, I feel like a noob that I missed all those references to Portal with Cave Johnson behind me, but
mm.
I'm sleep deprived, so you have to cut me a little slack. Question. Any ideas for how games could enable or attract or elevate more folks to build supportive communities like yours? So how could games enable and elevate folks to build more supportive communities?
Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about more than just
Yeah.
their games. Lift up streamers who are doing that. Lift up content creators that are doing that. I think language is very powerful. So I think if they talk about that alongside their regular branding conversations, and look, we're doing this and we're doing this. I was playing New World a couple of days ago, and the developers came into chat, and then they tweeted about our community and how wholesome it was. And so that's the kind of interaction and language and this two-way street that works, I think, not only for them, but also for the communities. And so they were promoting, and I didn't expect it, they promoted our community along with their game. So, it was a win-win for them. I knew what they were doing as well. It was a win for me. But I just
Yeah.
think having that conversation and also branding, recognizing streamers that are out there doing this, not just the really loud, large streamers. Let's recognize some of the smaller communities as well, the good
Absolutely.
work that they're doing. So yeah, it doesn't hurt. They can lift up their brand and their product, but lift up the communities in the same conversation.
Absolutely. Being more engaged.
Hmm.
Yes, I did an interview this morning, and they had asked me something similar about mental health and games, and that was my response. It was like, talk about it.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
It
Yeah.
goes a long way just
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
the
And bring it up in
conversation.
interviews and bring it up in
Yeah.
interviews. As a streamer, if you get
Yeah.
interviewed, talk about it. Talk about it.
Yeah. Um, what's one thing on your bucket list that you would love to cross off?
Got a big bucket list. I'd like to do voice work. This is a new thing. People come into my channel and they
Oh.
say, "We love how you sound. You're very calm. We like to listen to you." And so I've recently been thinking I'd like to either do voice work, or I may even, hubby's trying to gently prod me into doing a YouTube where I just read stories or just provide some quiet voice work in the back. So I'm trying to imagine what that would look like. But that's somehow made its
Yeah.
way onto my bucket list. Don't know how that'll look
Yeah.
yet, but
All right.
in
So if
amongst all the
anyone's
things that
looking,
I'm doing.
yeah, if anyone's looking for voice work, a voice
Mm,
work
mm,
actress,
mm, mm.
I have a children's book. I can send it to you. It's got 26 stories. You can
Perfect.
and they rhyme.
D and
Story time
D
with the
is on my list. D&D is on my list. I've never done it. Hubby
Dr.
has. I have
B,
never done it. I have
Dr.
never done
B,
it. I'd really like to try it. I think it'd be fabulous. I'm nervous
Dr.
about
B.
it. So that
This is,
that's some.
we're gonna make this happen. Promises are now being made. HaughtyChicken has never played D&D. We were just talking about doing some kind of ambassador appreciation type stuff.
Yeah.
HaughtyChicken's gonna play D&D. We're gonna make it work. Dr. B is a wonderful dungeon master. I have played with him as a player and a DM. Write it
One of
down.
those things that frightened me, but I really want to try. I really want to
You
try.
know, I was in a similar position to you a couple years ago. I'd never played D&D. I always felt like it was peripheral to my circle, like I just missed out on the fandom somehow.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I met Dr. B, and I met the DM of Clinical Role, and they were like, "You've never played D&D, you should play." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so nervous. I don't know. It sounds really fun." And they're like, "You should play on a stream." Sure, why not? Let's do
How
that.
terrifying. How
It was terrifying. I remember the first time. You'll appreciate this because you love RPGs like me. The first time I played, they were like, "Okay, here's your character. She's on a mountainside. Okay, well, what is she thinking? What does she say?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What does she say? I have to come up with the words. What are my chat options? I need my chat options." But it's loads of fun. We're gonna get you into D&D for sure. We can make that happen. Blushing
He says
Cracker
I'm
hasn't
in.
played it either. Yep. See, easy sell. He's always in for D&D. That's not a hard sell for him. Especially D&D with you. That'll be very, very fun. I want in on that too. I haven't played in a long time. Dr. Kelly also plays. All right, back to my tin of questions. Everyone's talking about how D&D is the best. See, you're in for a treat. Have you ever gone shopping on Black Friday? Do you have Black Friday in Australia? Do you do that? The wild shopping day?
Not really. We have end of year sales. Our end of financial year is the last day of June, and so we have our financial year starts the 1st of July, and so end of June is kind of our sales, but they're not like what you have. I know what you have because I live there. We don't really. And hubby will tell you as a North American, he says these aren't sales. It's like 10% off. Don't tell me that's a sale. But no, we don't really. No.
No, I went once when I was young and didn't know better. Those do not recommend.
No,
doing that. No, definitely not worth it. So this might be a tough one for you. No, yeah. What is one fiction book that you think everyone should read? We talked about nonfiction already. I know you said you haven't read a fiction book in a while. Is there like a classic?
I know it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Look, To Kill a Mockingbird comes to mind.
Classic.
That moved me tremendously. And we studied it in my final year of high school. But I haven't picked it up for a long time. But that one does come straight to mind. So there we are.
That is a good book.
Yeah.
I don't read too many fiction books either. These are like academic books.
My time is now. If I've got time to read, it's got to be academic or a paper.
Yeah.
So
yes, I understand. And after graduate school, it took me several years before I picked up a fiction book, just because I was like, I read for work all day long.
Yes.
I don't want to read for fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for the subscription. Hi, Nathan. Here we go. Let's get into the psyche of you. You are having a dinner party. You can have any 3 dinner guests you want. Who do you invite?
Oh my word! Oh my goodness!
Any 3.
It's funny that you say that because often we'll be watching someone, hubby and I, or watching a movie or watching a TV talk show or something, and we'll look at each other and we'll say, "They're coming." And we're referring to this magical dinner party that we were having. I remember growing up, my dad used to always say, he's now passed, he'd love to have Billy Connolly to dinner. And so often I think I'd like to have like comedians or David Attenborough. I'd love to have. There's a few people that I see. So I think I'd have Billy Connolly on one end. I'd have David Attenborough on the other. Do they have to be living or dead? David Attenborough on the other. There's so many people that I admire. You've really got me on the. I'm trying to think now who the other would be. It's really. Could I just have all of BTS? Can I just?
Yes.
They may not,
this is your fantasy.
Can I just have all of BTS as well?
Yes.
There we are.
Yes.
That's an unusual dinner table right there.
I'm sneaking into that dinner party. That sounds like a lovely dinner party. I remember I did a test session where I drew questions and I answered them myself, and I got that one, and I was like, Oprah. Like, I didn't know. Like, it's hard to pick 3.
And then an hour later, you remember, I should have said this person and this person. I would have sounded so great. But yeah, no, just give me K-pop and Billy and comedy and a little bit of David, and I'll be happy.
That would be a great dinner. Are you kidding? That'd be wonderful.
And a translator, maybe. We might need a translator.
You might, or you might not. It might be more fun without.
Maybe.
As long as the food is good, all will be well. And David Attenborough, I mean, what kind of stories would he have?
I know.
I know. And he has a lovely voice as well.
Yes, he does.
What is your favorite holiday movie? Do you have a favorite holiday movie? A festive?
We don't really, unlike the United States, we don't really have holiday movies per se here. Our culture is a little bit different. When I was a little girl, I'd say most of you won't know this because you're probably all much younger than me. There was a little animated movie called The Little Drummer Boy that used to play every Christmas. And it was little animation type of, I think they were little felt figures, I think. And I remember as a child, we used to watch that all the time. That was the thing that we used to watch. So probably that's my childhood memory. But we don't really have, not that in my family, we don't really watch holiday movies per se. So I can't really, I think that
No,
might be very much a US thing. A
you
Canadian
think?
thing.
Hmm.
Hmm.
What
We
do
do
you
have some
tell me
differences.
about? Well, sure. Tell me about your what holiday traditions do you have in Australia? So like in America, it was very much like holiday movies and Boxing
Mm,
Day shopping and that sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Is it
and
on
I
the
found that
beach?
because I found that in the States it was very much your holidays were very, very important to you, as a society. It was something to look forward to, something to
Mm.
celebrate. We're our society is, for example, Anzac Day, which is very much like your I'm trying to think what it's like, like in holding up the military, and so
Oh, mm-hmm.
Anzac is Australian New Zealand Army Corps. So our Anzac Day is like your, what is this, what's called similar?
Memorial
Starts with
Day.
L. I can't think. Memorial Day, yeah, similar. So for us, it's very much around mateship and holding up each other. So our society is very much in Australia based on mateship. It's very much about holding up those that are, I suppose, the underdogs. And so
Mm-hmm.
Australia, if we get behind someone, our culture is very much about that. So Anzac Day is very important to us.
Mm.
We're very much about our sports. We're very much a sporting culture as
Mm.
well. So we don't, yeah, it is different. I did find it different
Yeah.
living in the United States because everything was so focused on Halloween, for example. A lot of Australians will reject
Mm.
Halloween outright. We can be
Mm.
very abrupt in something that is not from our own culture like that. So a lot of
Mm.
Australians will not accept Halloween, for example. We don't have like 4th of July, and we have our
Right.
own issues around our Australia Day because it was also based on the invasion of the Indigenous. So there's an awful lot
Mm-hmm.
around that as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we're pretty laid back. When you think about Christmas in the States and you think about the holidays and holiday moves and stuff, as soon as our Christmas hits, it's hot weather. We're looking at a
Mm-hmm.
45-degree day for Christmas. And that's when we have our holidays. Most people are off for 8 weeks.
Right.
The children are off for 12 weeks. So ours is
Right.
very much about our lifestyle, our sports, that kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
Mm, mm.
What kind of are you into sports? Do you watch a lot of sports?
Um, I was in sports when I was younger. Not so much now. I like watching sports, and I know the Olympics are on, but I'm very much into
I
watching
love
winter sports. See, it's that link back to Canada. And
I love
I
the
discovered
Olympics.
curling when I
Winter
was visiting
sports.
Canada. What a thing is that? That's fabulous. I
Okay,
love curling. I
listen.
love
Curling
curling.
is amazing. Okay, I only recently discovered curling when I moved to Canada, and I have children that are 6 and 3, and I desperately want to put them in curling, and everyone thinks that I don't think they do it that young.
Do it. Do
Um,
it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
oh,
Do
I'm gonna, because hockey's the thing here, right? Too many concussions. I was like, no, hockey,
Yeah,
curling is what you're gonna
curling.
do.
Yeah.
Um, there we go. Now we've got the chat up now on their feet because curling,
Curling is I remember the
yes,
first time I watched it, I thought,
wonderful.
what is this? I
I
loved it. I
know.
absolutely loved it. Yeah. So I love
Yeah.
watching winter sports. See, I need to get back to Canada. I need that dual citizenship. I
Yeah.
need to check out the universities, another
You're
master's.
always
There's
welcome.
always time. There's always time.
You're always welcome. There is always time. Let me know when you come. I'll come and get you. And we can hang out. Yeah, curling. Yeah, I know. And they have curling alleys here, like they have bowling alleys. And
Really
my husband, yes, and my husband went with his work, and he was like, "It's not easy.
fabulous.
It's not easy." Yeah, okay. Well, those are Olympians you're watching. Of course, they make it look easy.
Of course they do.
Yeah, he's like, those shoes, they're very slippy. Yeah. Oh, okay. What is your favorite video game franchise?
Look, it would have to be Bethesda. I adore Skyrim and
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
adore Fallout 4. That is my
Mm-hmm.
go-to. If I need solace, and solitude and solo gameplay, I actually go to Fallout 4. I know it's getting quite old now, but I play it with mods, and that's why I have the Nuka Girl up on there. I absolutely adore Fallout 4. So yeah, I'd have to say. Mm.
I love the aesthetic of Fallout, the
Yeah,
whole visual
I do
aesthetic.
too. Yeah.
Um, throwing swords, it has a sword. I'm glad that everyone in the chat is also on board with curling. Curling is the only occasion when brooms don't
Curling,
clean
look, who
anything.
knew? You need a curling emote.
Dr. B, are you listening? Or Dr. Dunlap, we need a curling emote.
Curling emote.
My mother is in America, very much a Southern belle, and I introduced her to curling, and she actually brought it up to me. She was like, you know what was on the other day? Curling. Like, make Canadian out of you yet. What is one video game character you relate to and why?
I actually can't answer
question.
that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd have to think
I'll
about
throw
that
it again. You think, okay, I'll put it to the side. You think about that one. We'll return to that.
Okay.
We'll return to that. Fun fact. Here, fun fact. My fun fact went away. Where is it? Fun fact. Here in Denmark, we don't talk about soccer moms. We have curling parents. Really?
Really?
In Denmark?
Wow. Goodness.
That's very cool. Almond Beard. Managing game communities is very hard. I work as an engineer at a big studio, and we have explicit mental health support and support on dealing with abuse on social media for all employees. That's excellent. That's a step ahead of a lot of people. That's excellent. You have explicit rules for that. Community management is a new discipline in games, and it shows. This has been wonderfully enlightening, but it's nearly 1 a.m. here in the UK. Thank you both. And in chat, I'll be tuning in again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you're here and that you found it helpful and useful. And please return. It'd be great to have you. Here in Norway, we talk about curling parents too. I have a new life goal, and that is to be a curling parent.
Curling parent.
Yeah, for sure.
You had soccer mums. You've heard about show mums, and now we all now know about curling parents.
I didn't know this was a thing. I know that hockey moms are a thing because hockey's really big here. But okay,
I was a swimming mom.
Swimming? Oh, see, swimming would be good too. I'd be down with my kids to do swimming.
Yeah, my children went to swimming. So.
Just no concussion sports. That's kind of my rule. Tell me, curling parent people, do let me know, how young can I take my kids to the curling alley? I just want to know.
Off there.
What Jeopardy category would you probably get every question right?
TV, as in science fiction.
Oh yeah, yeah, very good. I would not. You would dominate me in that category for sure. Do you like? Okay, the question is, what kind of jelly do you put on your peanut butter sandwich? But I don't even know if you eat peanut butter sandwiches or if you like jelly.
I do like peanut butter
sandwiches.
I like jam, aka jam sandwiches. We don't call it jelly, of course. I tried peanut butter and jam once because I saw it in the movies. That's a bit of a funky thing. Can I just say?
Wait. Yeah, you didn't like the combination? What flavor jam did you go for?
Raspberry.
Raspberry? Okay. It's very classic flavor. No? Not a fan?
And look, hubby, who I can hear behind me, and I'm just going to say, you can come in if you need to, hubby. He's working. He's being so good. I think he's up the stairs. You can come if you want. Hubby likes peanut butter. He has peanut butter and chocolate. Who has peanut butter and chocolate together? He's beside me now saying Reese's Pieces.
In a candy?
You can all wave to hubby.
Yeah.
Hubby's about
Reese's
to walk
Pieces.
Past.
I'm on board with your Reese's Pieces. Yeah.
We're just waving to hubby as he goes past. Bye, hubby.
No.
But yeah, the whole peanut butter with things I don't get. Unless it's in a satay. If it's in a satay, sign me up.
Yeah.
The peanut butter and sweet, you can keep that there.
Not a fan.
No, sorry.
Whoa. Okay, someone went one step further. Delaney says peanut butter and bacon. How do we feel about that? That's not sweet, that's savory.
It might work. Hey, look, I tried maple bacon. So I saw that on the internet. I went and cooked it straight away. I got some Canadian maple and I put you have to do it in the oven. Don't have too much though. Balances everything.
Yes, everything in moderation. Too much.
I'll just let you know that emote there with the moose ears. If hubby comes over here, if hubby comes over to me to help with chat, I say, get back in your box now. Off you go. And so we have an emote for back in your box for the moose.
Oh, that's so cute. I love the moose. Peanut butter and honey, peanut butter and banana. There's a lot of peanut butter suggestions here. Peanut butter and bacon. I don't know about peanut butter and bacon. I just have to say,
I'm a purist with the peanut butter.
Yeah. I will say I do prefer peanut butter by itself. I'll eat it with jam or jelly or honey. Maybe not bacon. but by itself it's best. Do you like chunky or creamy peanut butter? That's another
Chunky,
question.
chunky, chunky.
What? What? There's the twist at the end of that question. Chunky peanut butter. Oh, okay. I guess I'm outnumbered here in the chat with the
No.
creamy peanut butter. Who did you send your last text to? Who do you text? Do you text a lot of people?
Look, because we're in lockdown right now, and my community know that we have a new grandbaby coming soon, so I'm texting a lot of my immediate family. So yeah, so I think the last one would have been probably the one with the wee ones coming. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. New babies are so exciting. What are you currently watching these days? You watching anything?
I'm watching something that's been filmed in Canada, and it's called Virgin River on Netflix. I go through a phase where I binge watch everything. So I just finished all of Star Trek Enterprise. Then I watched all of Star Trek Next Generation. Then I watched all of the 100. And then I wanted something a bit wee, light and fluffy. I watched some zombie movie on a plane, Red Sky something or other, yesterday. See, I have this capacity to, if I'm reading through abstracts, I just have some noise in the background. If it's music, it's too chill and I can't take in what I'm reading. So I have Netflix on while I study. I know it may not necessarily be a great habit, and so I've got this thing called Virgin River. It's some sort of fluffy thing going on in the background, but I looked, that was so beautiful, and it's being filmed in Canada. So yeah,
that's nice.
I'm sort of not watching it, rather than it's in the background.
In the background, yeah.
Yeah.
I am currently watching The Umbrella Academy. Okay, those spoilers. I've never seen it. Well, I've seen it now. I'm watching it now.
It is so good. It is so good, and they're making a third series. Oh, it's so good.
And it's being filmed in Toronto, and I am this close to going down there and finding Klaus because we need to be BFFs.
It is so good. It is so good. Love that. Love that.
It's all about Klaus. Yes, I love it too.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
So glad you're watching it.
I mean, I want like to cosplay.
Yes,
all of them. I love it so much. The fish tank. Anyway, my husband watches a lot more TV than me, and so he'll be like, "You should watch this and you should watch that," and I get it in my head like, I don't want to watch it. You've already seen it, like, you know. And he'll like, "Fine, I'll watch The Umbrella Academy." And like 5 minutes in, I was like, "Why haven't I seen this before? It's so good."
But I have a confession to make. Be ready. This will shock you. I haven't watched The Matrix, any of them.
Listen, Keanu, Saint Keanu,
I'm sorry,
you have denied yourself.
I'm sorry.
You only need to watch the first one. Let's be honest.
Okay, I'll just watch the first one then.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Okay.
That's okay. I hadn't watched The Umbrella Academy until like a week ago, so
okay, all right.
It's a safe space. We can share our confessions here. Maybe when Virgin River's over, you just put that on in the background. Just the first one. They decline from there. Okay, so
then, ma'am.
I know. People are upset about that. Saint Keanu is, you know, we do love him here. I think We're Alone Now bit from Umbrella Academy was so great. It was, and I even after the first episode, I was like, Klaus is my favorite. He's the best. It's only gotten better from there. And I want to read the comics now. And here's the thing. I didn't know it was from Gerard Way. Big MCR fan. I would have watched it years ago if I would have known that. And it's so good. Okay, here we go. Which character from the Umbrella Academy do you dance like? Speaking of that dance montage, not Diego for me, for sure.
I don't dance well. There, you can take your own assumptions from that. I don't dance well. I'm very much a 1980s. I just sort of shuffle a bit over here and I shuffle a bit over there, and that's pretty much it, really.
Oh, that's okay. That's like the Elliot Page dance. That's.
There we go. There we go.
There.
Yeah. I dance like them.
I'm definitely the Elliot Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
very chill.
So, yeah. Such a good show. I can't wait to finish it. Okay, so we can go back to the character question, or we can pick a different one.
Pick a different one, because there's
right.
just too many. There's too many.
It's hard. I know. It's hard. All right. Pick a different one. Oh, who is your favorite streamer to watch? Do you have a favorite streamer that you like to watch?
No, I it's why I don't actually promote. I don't say, "Oh, please go and watch," or on Twitter, you know, where people recommend, because there's so many, and it depends on my mood. Sometimes there's a Twitch channel that I watch that is literally just rain, because I'm very much into ASMR as well to unpack and unwind. And so I probably couldn't say that there, it just depends on my mood. I can watch Brock's making things that he wants to watch. I can go and watch Anxiety if I really want to. She's fabulous to learn from.
She is.
It just depends. So I wouldn't pick out any in particular. I could say I don't watch very frenetic streams. I don't like streams that are just an abundance that will, overload my senses. So I tend to steer away from those. I do need them to be fairly relatable for me and chill.
So you don't watch the Fortnite streams? No, because those are.
Yeah, no. Having said that, I'll watch high-end competitions because I do like watching them because I'm not very good at some games. So, but I in my day-to-day, it needs to be fairly quiet. I prefer those.
Yeah. Yes. My husband started watching the Grand Theft Auto role-playing server streams, which are fascinating.
Oh, goodness.
Have you seen these?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh my goodness, he opened my eyes to a whole new world. They are private servers, but they role play like the people who make the hamburgers, and the police officers are role playing police officers, and the criminals are role playing.
How fascinating.
It's a good study of people. I know that you and I share a people watching.
Goodness.
Yeah, I can recommend.
I'm going to try role playing in November when the Bunny Boys come out with Final Fantasy. I'm making a Reaper. That'll be my very first attempt at role playing game.
That's exciting. Are you going to stream
See how that goes.
Probably. Yeah. That's good D&D prep because you have to come up with your own dialogue because I learned that the hard way on stream live. It was great.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. It was really funny. What do you mean? I remember too. She was like, "What's your hair look like?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm supposed to make this stuff up. What am I? Give me a." You
didn't get the email?
Bar. No, I know. Nobody told me. And then I was climbing up a mountain. I was like, "Oh, her hair's really long," and they're like, "That's quite impractical." You're like, "Okay, I don't know." Which Fallout 4 faction do you join?
The Minutemen.
The Minutemen. You heard it here first. Okay, I'm going to scroll up and see if I missed any questions.
I'm just going to glance across to this wonderful man next to me just to make sure he doesn't have to go into a call.
Oh, yes.
Because I am conscious that I share a working space, so I'm just going to
yes.
check with hubby. Yes.
Is he good? Oh, okay. I did miss a comment about a donut on a hamburger. How do we feel about that? Oh, are we intrigued? It's sweet and savory. Okay, I think
how does one eat one of those? I've seen them where they use the donuts as the buns.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
About that one, we'll park that one over there.
We'll
park that over there.
Well,
that's my hand movement. You didn't say over there.
Yeah.
When I don't like something, it's normally over there.
Yes. Oh, yes. We need to take you to the American State Fair. The Texas State Fair. I am born and raised in Texas.
I didn't get to go to one. I got to go to a baseball game, which was so good. I was lining up. Yes. I didn't know when you went into a baseball field that they had all these food things inside and people had food everywhere. And it was such a big thing. And it was where the reserves are for the San Francisco main team in San Jose. And so I was lined up and these people behind me were lovely and they tapped on my shoulder and they said, "You're not from around here." And I said, "No, good guess, I'm not." And I got some things called a loaded fries thing. And we went and sat to watch the game. And then this fellow came walking, this very fine looking fellow with lovely silver hair came up and he had all these gifts and signed things. And he said, "I heard that you're not from around here." I had no idea how he knew that I wasn't from here. And he gave me all these goodies. It was so kind. It was my first experience of a baseball game. And it was so cool. It was amazing. But I didn't get to go to a state fair. That was on my list.
Yes.
Maybe one day.
Well,
maybe one day.
One day. And if you go to the Texas State Fair, they have delicacies like fried butter was one of the food. Sounds hideous. Deep fried Mars bars.
And you have
American
turkey legs.
Cuisine.
You have these massive turkey legs that people walk around with, and you have fried cake thing like fried.
Oh, the funnel cakes.
Yeah.
Funnel cakes.
You have the I have to go one day. And barbecues. Just don't get me started. I miss your barbecue so much. We don't have barbecues like you have.
You don't have to. Well, we don't have barbecues.
Yeah, but not like barbecue. No. Like we have sausages and chops on the grill. Not like barbecues.
You need like a brisket and a pulled pork and some potatoes.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sorry, we're gonna stop now. Now I'm hungry, and I am living in Canada where they also do not have.
Yeah, I'll need a second breakfast now.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for coming and spending
It
this
was
time with
my pleasure,
us.
my
It's been
absolute pleasure.
so lovely, so lovely.
It has been lovely.
And we were gonna go eat now.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
we
going to go and
ended
get a
on
second
food
breakfast.
talk. Yes. Okay. Most excellent. Well, thank you all, guys, for coming to hang out with us, and we'll be back next Monday. And take care of yourselves, and we'll chat soon.
Yep, take care. Okay.